A lot of people these days are becoming aware and waking up to the reality and preparing for the worst, preparing for the future. And we want to know how to handle the coming years given the uncertainty in the economy and in our governments surrounding bank failures, inflation, government debt. And so the solid solution is focusing on tangible, physical assets that have intrinsic value. So specifically, physical gold and silver are one of these best straightforward options. And while the process of buying precious metals can be a bit challenging these days, especially with the gold and silver's rising popularity and also likewise the growing scams out there, a lot of people are unfortunately being ripped off. So it's important to find a very trustworthy source. For example, Costco now sells gold and I think silver too, and they're okay, but they only offer gold bars. So these can be great for storing, but they won't be practical in a crisis when you may need to frequently barter very precisely for smaller utilities with your neighbors and the rest of your community. So that's why you also need gold and silver coins. And silver is useful for buying lower cost goods because silver is not worth as much as gold. So the same size or weight of a silver coin is a little bit less than a gold coin. And that's useful for smaller denominations. Now, a good strategy for storing precious metals is to divide them into a couple primary locations. So store some physical gold and silver at home in a fireproof safe or a hidden box somewhere that is not only hard to find, but also very difficult to get to. And this is critical. It should be so hard to get to that when someone asks you to get it, it should make you sigh and be a big chore for you. It should be hard to get at. Because think about the burglar's mindset. If someone breaks into your home and they're looking for that hidden emergency funds, they're going to do that as fast as they can. They don't want to linger and hang out there for a long time. So you should make it as difficult as possible for them. And then as for the rest, you can keep it in an IRA or 401k, something like that. And when it comes to your hidden stores, you should have a couple of different spots too, or a couple different spots or so just in case. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? You can have another safe somewhere that is in your bedroom and it has some emergency funds for smaller crises, like when you lose your job or you're with your family or somebody loses their job or you're saving up for something. It's like a rainy day, but not a complete major crisis. And then the other hidden spots are saved for, absolute emergencies, very major crises, pandemics, and who knows what, civil war and things like that. Because it's not practical to keep an immense IRA amount at home in a safe. It's better to have a smaller portion here, right, that you can access, and put the rest in some kind of retirement account, or rather retirement or emergency account. Now, storing cash is good, but physical gold and silver has functioned as money for thousands of years, and it will continue to do so, and that's why it's so important. You can check, what's it called? goldprotects.com for the legitimacy of your metals. They're a very trustworthy company. I'm not sponsored by them. I just know about them, and you can ask them anything you want, and they'll be able to help you out. They're very straightforward, no nonsense. So as for hiding funds at home, let's get into this a bit more thoroughly here. So you can keep some of these funds in a big gun or standard safe hidden away in your room somewhere. And as I said, in your bedroom is not the best place. So you could just save smaller amounts in here just for a little bit more access if somebody loses your job. Right. But as I said, the emergency crises, or crisis rather, there's, as I said, a civil war, pandemic, there's a major depression or a very bad recession. It's not good to keep it in your bedroom. So some other great places can be in your garage somewhere. You just want to be creative with it, right? If you have it in your garage, people have their garages just chock full of junk, right? People have these really messy garages everywhere. You can hide it in a number 10 can, in a reasonably large can or something, a unsuspecting can of beans, not wet beans, but dry beans. And you can really just put cash and gold coins and stuff underneath, in this can, sitting underneath these dry beans, and that will conceal the money. And you can also, and then when you have this can can be kept with lots of other cans. Like this could be a whole food store of cans, like a prepping food store of cans. So one of them is for the money, and then the rest are actual food cans in a box. And then that box is hidden underneath a huge stack of more boxes. Like, again, you're prepping food, any other kind of junk that you have. So you have boxes on top of these boxes, on top of this box, I mean. And then you can have boxes and items surrounding this. You could have a home gym blocking off this area. You can have really big, heavy moving boxes that you almost never use surrounding it on the outside of this. And then clothing hanging on top of it, or bed sheets and stuff, just to make it really hard to get at. And it's the same idea with other places and spaces. You can have some people have that elevated ceiling attached platform in their garage, so they have to they actually need a step ladder to get at anything up there, because you're not tall enough to reach. So you need a step ladder, and then you have lots of junk again, all these boxes. You have to take everything out, and then once you do, there's your emergency funds. Or you can do the same thing in an attic. You know, it's the highest place of a house. It's the hardest place to get to. It takes the longest to get to. You have to get through all these rooms to get to the attic, right? It's the far end of our house, which is why, your entrance or a back door is not a great place to have it anywhere. You don't want it anywhere near there, because that's where people come and go, and that's where burglars can come and go. And then you can even, some people, if you have the creativity, or sometimes it can be a little bit expensive for this, but you can install a custom, what I call a anti-ninja style, floorboard, what's it called? A trap door or hidden door, and so you can cut out in your floor the floorboard and create like a sliding floor and put a safe somewhere under there. And that's locked and with a code and everything. You can even have it written backwards in Hebrew or something like that, or numerology, who knows what. And then on top, when you conceal that, you can just put furniture on top of that to conceal the floorboard area. Some people have decoy safes just to distract burglars. And when the burglars, if they ever do get to those safes, there's nothing there except for a couple of guns or something. In America, you would have guns. In Canada, it would be something else. Well, I mean, Canadians have guns too, the registered ones. So there's that option, the anti-ninja style. And, even paid storage units can be good, because then it's not anywhere at home. If your home gets broken into, your emergency funds aren't actually, they're not at home. And it's great because you don't need another home to store this. You can just store this in a paid storage unit, like Advantage storage or whatever it is, all sorts of brands and companies for this. So you have your, couple meter cube space or your shipping container worth of storage, and just, again, make it hard to get at. And you can have also, there's an interesting homemade like a sort of safe or treasure box type thing that I saw this guy make. And it's not really a treasure box at all, but it has a similar sort of function. And what this guy does is he gets a 1.5 inch PVC pipe, about that thickness. That way you can store rolls of money and stuff, or big coins. And this thing is about, 12 to 24 inches long. And what you do is you get a cap, you glue on one side, and then you glue on the other side an adapter with a screw piece so that you can put another cap on that screws on. And everything is kept in there. And you have your gold coins, your gold. You can have, for example, 1/3 silver coins, 1/3 ounce silver coins, 1/4 ounce gold coins. And you can put a bunch of this stuff in food grade mylar bags, because you're going to bury this thing. So it's good to put a lot of this stuff in mylar bags for preserving them. You put some oxygen absorbers as well to protect from, I don't know actually what they're for keeping it dry or something like that. And you just need the primer and cement just to glue the caps on this pipe. Once you glue the ends up, it's ready to go. You've waited 24 hours or whatever it is, and you can bury this in your yard somewhere, or you can bury it at a bug out location. And this is super effective. So I've given you plenty of options for this. There is no excuse to not have emergency funds. It's one of the most important things you can have in terms of finance in this world today. So get started. Start as soon as you can. Stay prepared. Stay diligent.